Should you be that girl? We all know the trend on social media. That girl wakes up at 5 a.m. That girl eats healthy. That girl goes to the gym. That girl drinks smoothies, mostly green smoothies. How realistic is this? And do you think being that girl is actually something that is worth it? Let's dive into the pros and cons. Welcome to the front row with myself, Roanna. Are you that girl? That girl trend has taken social media by storm. That girl wakes up at 5 a.m. That girl drinks a smoothie. That girl takes care of her wellness, her financial wellness. She's got it together. If she's a mom like me, then she has it together. She's got a balance. She's got a schedule. Everything is flowing. And she's got a balanced lifestyle and she's just doing the things. Are you that girl, and how sustainable is it? With the pressure of what life has to offer, so many people have this vibe of, I want to be that girl. Me too. I want to be that girl every day, and I want to wake up and I want to show up as her. But what is that girl for you? Or are you just being that girl that social media says you need to be? I think it's very important to understand that being that girl is the girl that you see yourself as, the person that you want to be when you grow up, the person that you see yourself in 4 to 5 years. And waking up and practicing being that girl is the essence of that girl. So let's look at the pros and cons of being that girl. Look, I think you're kidding yourself if you're going to say that being that girl is not going to be beneficial to your life. Come on. This girl is meticulous. This girl is disciplined. This girl loves herself. This girl attracts only the right people in her life. This girl is mind, body, and soul wellness. Why don't you want to be that girl, right? But what we must not get involved in is the craziness of what society tells us to be, and just kind of being that girl for who you are. So that's some of the pros of being that girl. You are definitely going to improve your health because that girl takes care of her wellness. She prioritizes exercise and eating right in the morning or in the afternoon. But I find that most of the girls that are that girl usually do it before the sun rises. That girl is productive. She has a plan. She has a to-do list. She wakes up with intention and she gets her to-do list done for the day. That girl is self-disciplined. Nobody needs to tell her what to do. She knows what she wants and she knows how to get it. She doesn't falter. She doesn't sleep late. She doesn't eat sweets. She doesn't eat chocolates. She doesn't have an ill-disciplined moment, and she follows her routine because her routine gets her to be successful. That is who she is. That girl is inspirational. She is a beacon light to everyone. She is a ball of positivity. She does not have a victim mindset. She is just full of glam and glitz and positivity, and everyone wants to be her, and she knows it. So that girl sounds pretty awesome, right? She sounds like that girl. Like, why wouldn't I want to be that girl? But like everything, it's too good to be true. No one can be that perfect, and no one's life is that perfect. While you may be making these plans to do all of these great things, God starts laughing and God says, child, come here, let me teach you a thing or two. So when you lived on earth a little bit longer, you realize that the more you make plans, the more God laughs. So it's also about surrendering to the universe. And while I do agree that being disciplined and being all of those things that that girl is, it also comes with us realizing that there is a reality to this. There is the con side of being that girl. So let's look at it. Some of the potential downsides you may incur when you're trying so hard to be that girl is that you could be too structured and you don't have malleability, you don't have adaptability. And the essence of life is to be able to adapt, adjust, and accommodate. Sri Swami Shivananda, the founder of the Divine Life Society, says, serve, love, give, purify, meditate, realize, be good, do good, be kind, be compassionate, adapt, adjust, accommodate. And those are life skills. So if we can't adapt and accommodate and adjust, how are we going to live life to the fullest? So when you start putting very rigid rules and processes in place and you don't have room for malleability, it can set yourself up for failure. And instead of being that girl, you then become not that girl. A big part of what I found with trying so hard to be that girl is a lack of authenticity. I find so many pages on social media, especially TikTok and YouTube, where influencers are trying to be that girl and they kind of curated the same person. I don't really think they're the same person in real life. I don't think that is possible, because all of us, if we all have different thumbprints, surely we have some different traits. So I think also when you start wanting to be someone else, then it really starts diminishing who you are, and you start kind of dimming your light and you're not showing the true essence of who you are. Why do you want to have a face that looks like everybody else, or a body that looks like everybody else, or a lifestyle that looks like everybody else, or a home that looks like everyone else's home? You are you, and you should be proud of who you are. So I think in terms of really curating your life to be that girl, be careful of losing yourself in that whole journey. Look, I don't have a problem with using influencers as a guide. I use them all the time. I love the That Girl mission. I love what it stands for. I think it's a superb thing. But I also have to stop myself sometimes, because I don't want to be someone else. I really want to be myself, and I want to showcase myself to people so that people get to know who I am. And while I use that as a guide in terms of the discipline and all the pros, I must be very cognizant of the fact that there are certain attributes of being that girl that can lead me down another path that may not be true and authentic. Another con to being that girl is that you could really start feeling the mental anxiety, because you're trying so hard to be this other girl, that girl. Then you start losing who you are, and the stress of being this and sticking to this type of persona that you've created can be stressful. It can cause mental anxiety. It can cause a whole lot of trouble within your being, especially if you're not being authentic to who you are. For me, that girl means showing more love to myself. And what I mean by that is surrounding myself with the right kind of people, having positive conversations, reading good self-help books, watching the right kind of media so that I'm not polluted in my mind, and waking up and being the best version to my kids, to myself, to my husband, to those around me. And I want to be that positive person wherever I go. And for me, that's what it means to be that girl. I don't necessarily have to be walking around with a Stanley Cup or black leggings and white socks to be considered that girl. I don't necessarily have to be like her to be that girl. I can be me, and I can use that girl as a guide to curate my own that girl energy. So now that we've looked at the pros and the cons of being that girl, how are you going to curate this mindset of being that girl? And is it even necessary? It's always important to take away what works for you, because you should be at the center of planning this that girl moment. Who are you? What do you like? What do you love? What do you enjoy? What brings you joy? What is it about you that makes you that girl? And why are people going to look at you in a certain way? And that's kind of creating a brand for yourself. And when you set a brand for yourself, it's almost like setting a goal. Who am I? What do I dress like? What do I talk like? Where do I hang out? What do I read? What do I watch? Who hangs out with me? all the things that curates you as a person, and you don't necessarily have to change that person. If you're someone that eats pizza every day, dude, that is you. If you're someone that needs to have chocolate every day, hey, that's you. If you're someone that needs to go to the movies every weekend, that's you. If you're someone that loves to go dancing every weekend, that is you. Stay true to who you are and what brings you joy, what brings you happiness. That's how you set the goal to say, this is who I want to be. Of course, there's a fine line between being toxic and not being toxic. So if you're starting to harm yourself in any way, where you're starting to pollute yourself, you're starting to engage in negativity, that's a red light, and you know you're not being that girl, because you're not even being authentic to who you are, and you're not doing the things that bring you joy. You also want to listen to your body, listen to your mind, and listen to who you are. They say when you have doubt, it usually means no. So when you feel like, I don't think this is for me. So when I look at fashion bloggers, a lot of the time I used to just curate my look according to what the trends were at the time. But now I want to look like Ro. I want to look like who I want to be. My hair doesn't necessarily have to be perfect, but it also doesn't mean that I'm not that girl. My features doesn't need to be according to the model that I see, because I look different, and that's okay. So curating my life the way I am already is vital. Now, I'm not saying don't improve your lifestyle. If you want to improve your body, if you want to change the way you look, if you want to change your habits perhaps, if you want to change your personality in a way that suits you because you want to curate this person, because that's the thing that's going to bring you joy, that's going to be the thing that leads you to your goal for you to manifest what you want, then go ahead and do it. There's nothing wrong with that. But you've got to remember that it's got to bring you joy, and it's got to be authentic to what you actually want. So merely just saying, I'm going to follow this blindly and I'm going to mimic someone else, that's not being true to yourself. But taking guidance from the different influences, the different things that are happening in the world, and using that as a guide to curate who you are and what you want to do, that is being that girl. I think the best thing that I've taken from this trend is, no matter what, if you do it the right way, if you are authentic, if you do the things that bring you joy, if you are true to yourself, if you do it in a self-loving way, if you are doing it in a loving way to others, and you're just kind and compassionate, then you will be that girl. And if anything, we shouldn't even be calling it that girl, right? You should be this girl, because that's who you are. This is who you should be. This is how you're showing up to the world and to the universe every single day. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, remember that you're waking up as yourself, the best person that God intended for you to be. And ask the universe, can I please, or help me to please be the highest, truest, best version of myself? Let me find my truth. Let me act from a position of love. What will you have me do? What will you have me say? And what will you have me say to whom? Is what Gabby Bernstein says in her book, The Universe Has Your Back. And I just am in love with how Gabby Bernstein has positioned it, because it makes sense. When you truly believe with everything in your being that you are deserving of the things that you love, and you're behaving in that manner to receive the things that you love, and you're acting like this girl that has already received these things, I promise you, your life is going to change for the better tremendously. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, but when there's downs, it's like this. And that's what's so beautiful about it. Never forget that you have the power within you to be this girl, and go out and get her. Thank you so much for choosing the front row. We'll do this again next week. Cheers.